So I usually start out with ab crunches. I got into those recommended by one of my doctors because I had a spasm in my lower back, and that can be caused by some weakness in the lower back, possibly due to long years of a sitting job. So if you build up the muscles along the front of the abdomen, namely the rectus abdominis, hopefully it can balance things out, make your stance a little bit better, maybe reduce some of the pain. If you can get through this and you're cool without a soft backing, I'm going to show you what I do now, which is an elbow to knee crunch that I do on a hardwood floor. But first, here's how you do crunches in bed. Well, that's one set of 30 reps. Pretty much anybody can do that. If you can't yet, you want to work on it, get up towards it, don't push yourself super hard, and try to avoid causing a lot of strain to the back of your hips, especially if that's the reason why you're doing this. You want to slowly, gradually build up the ability to engage your rectus abdominis, and then as you progress, increase the amount of contraction that you perform on those muscles each set that you do, each time that you do this, over the months and months that you're going to be doing this. You'll hopefully get to a point where you don't feel that you're ready to take on a day without doing a set of crunches. Next, I'm going to get into some clothes that are a little bit less embarrassing to be on camera with, and I'm going to show you how I actually do my crunches lately. The cropped pants can stay, but I'm in a more reasonable t-shirt. I should mention this type of t-shirt. It is a thin polyester type of thing. I don't use your standard cotton t-shirts anymore because of the amount of sweat that I put out when I do a workout in the gym. I sweat rivers, and it wicks away from this stuff really nicely and quickly. Also, with a black t-shirt, I don't look like I got puddles under my arms and in my chest quite as much. Geez, this autofocus really concentrates on that fake mantelpiece. Wow. Alright, so I tend to do these without my glasses, which means I'm not going to be able to see the preview monitor. Right now, if I put my head back, I've got half a stretch pole underneath it. That is just when I'm resting. When I actually do the routine, I take it away. So, see if I can get a nice cracking sound out of my back first. There we go. That was upper back, definitely not lumbar. I'm going to bring my elbows like this with my fingers behind my neck. I'm not actually going to push up on the back of my head because that would hurt my neck, and so I don't recommend it. You can actually have your fists by your ears if you like. You bring your body upwards, bring your knees inwards, touch them to your elbows, and go down. I can't talk the way through these actual reps because I'm applying quite some tension to my abs, because it's an ab workout. So I'll do a set of 30, and if you hear me grunting, it's because it's working. I also tend to travel across the floor a little bit, and you'll probably see that if you look at the beginning frame and the end frame of this clip. Hey, so that's a set of 30. Means what we're in right now is the interval between sets. I'll usually do 4 to 5 sets of these, and I'll do some other exercises during the intervals. I'm going to have to quit for now because I forgot to charge my battery. Or I could switch to my 4K overkill camera that's still got some battery charge and get this thing done. In the meantime, while I was figuring that out, I did one of my interval exercises, which is chest press with a dumbbell. And so actually I'm going to show you that. Normally I only do one set. I hopefully didn't tire myself out completely during the interval, so I'll show you again what I do. There's 2 different types of presses that I do on each arm. I do exercise the left. I'll show you both. Form isn't perfect, but it gets the job done. I can expect a little bit of gain if I keep the reps going up higher. Right now it's set at 12.5 kilograms, not including the bar. Bar is aluminum. It's pretty light. You may not start out with 12.5 kilograms, but if you're using a system of progressive resistance, you are going to get there and surpass it too. Let's check it out. There's my 12.5 kilogram dumbbell. First grip that I'm going to use is a hammer grip, and let's go for 8 reps. Normally I do 10 to 12. So, my elbow is now on the ground. Both elbows are actually touching the ground. I'm bracing my left arm against my left hip, and my left elbow is touching the floor. Right elbow is currently touching the floor. I'm going to raise the dumbbell straight upwards, lock out the arm, bring it down. You want to stay nice and smooth, no punching actions. That was 3, 4, remember to lock out that arm. 5, 6. This is a compound movement. It's exercising several different muscles. That was a slip of the tongue because I hit the 7th rep. There's my 8th rep. I know I got more in me. 9th. 10. You may be able to see a little bit of jitter in the arm. 11. 12. My form completely went to crap on that last rep, indicating that I was at failure. Any more attempted reps and I might drop the dumbbell, injure myself, or this beautiful hardwood floor. Same routine on the other arm. I am also stabilizing my hips with my right arm. And here we go. Didn't talk my way through that one. The reps were quicker, and that meant they were easier. Anytime you want to make your rep more difficult, if you don't have the ability to add more plates, increase your time under resistance, time under tension. Slow that rep way down. You can see that my form starts to come apart even on 1 rep. I didn't take an interval of any serious length. Okay, now while you were doing that with the left arm, your right arm was taking a snooze, so it's ready for a set of the other form that I use. My left arm is stretched out over my chest. I got my fingers right over my sternum. Not much of a reason for this other than left elbow stabilization. Right elbow is also touching the floor, and you'll see that I now have a different grip, horizontal bar, and I'm going to do this for 8 reps maybe. It just works different parts of the muscle group from different angles. Now this is just my morning workout. I can bench 45, 50 kilograms is my 1 rep limit so far. That's not even a really good percentage of my body weight yet, so I'm working on getting it higher. I would see gains from my home workout if I did these reps to failure with multiple sets, but I don't. This is just to get me nice and warmed up and ready to take on the day. It's not meant to annihilate. And here's the other side. So that's that little bit of interval pressing done between my sets of ab crunches. Time for me to do another set. I'm not going to show that to you. You'll just have to trust that I've done it. When I see you next, I'll be sweatier for the next set of interval stuff. Yeah, so that's another set of 30 elbow to knee crunches that kicked my ass a little bit. It's supposed to. I'm a little bit winded because I don't breathe too well during that exercise. You should be able to, but just depends on how you balance out the diaphragm breathing versus crunching down on those abs to try to get them firmed up. In my case, it's not to build a six-pack. It is to balance out my back and hopefully improve my posture and reduce some pain. Can work for anybody. If you've got some excess body fat, you're not going to see the six-pack. It's hidden underneath that blanket. You might want to keep that blanket. You might live in a real cold place. Who knows? But building ab strength is good for your back and for your posture. And actually, it can be some fun, too. It'll warm up your body. This morning, I don't need that. It's rainy, but it's really warm outside. But I'll tell you, in winter, a set of crunches is a really good thing when you don't have central heating. All right, so enough blabbing. During this interval, I'm going to do a little exercise with a weird kettle ball bell that I've got. It's 10 kilograms, and I do a sort of over-the-body raise thing that's best explained by showing you. I think it's probably its best benefit is scapular stability, scapular strength, but you be the judge. It's just kind of fun to do, and I do 10 reps. There's my goofy kettle ball. I picked this up as my very first dumbbell over here. I used to have a whole bunch of dumbbells and barbells from my high school days, and I got rid of them on the other side of the pond. Now I've got less, but I use it more. Go figure. So there's the full movement. I try not to let it hit the floor. This works all kinds of different muscle groups because it is a compound exercise. I can feel it in my upper abdominals, deltoids, a little bit of trap, a little bit of lateral, tiny bit of tricep, although I'm keeping my elbows fixed, so there shouldn't really be much. I lost count, so I'm going to assume this is 8. Of course, I'm not really following any prescribed form. And if there is a form for this, I'm probably getting it wrong, so my actual rep count is probably 0. Time for another set of crunches. I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, and those crunches are pretty effective. So for this next thing that I do, it is a leg and hip raise. You really should do it with straight legs all the way through. I can't. You should also reduce the amount of momentum that you give yourself with the legs. All of that inertia that you build up with a leg movement kind of takes away from the point of the exercise, which is lower abdominal strength. But hey, you do what you can do. Now, if you can't raise your hips off the ground when you do this movement, that's fine. It's just going to be a regular leg raise. And if you can do a leg raise with straight legs, that's great too. I'm going to go through for the full hip follow through, 12 reps. Once again, form isn't particularly good, but I know I'm not going to injure myself with this. Point is, I'm getting some exercise in the lower abs, and it feels great. Let's do it. Sometimes you'll replace a bad rep with a better rep. Sometimes I just do this to failure. And that last one was a pretty crappy hip raise. That's what I'll call failure on that for me. This is supposed to be an interval on my ab training, and I just kind of annihilated my lower abs for the moment. So we're going to move to another upper body exercise, shoulder press. Alright, so this junk is pretty straightforward. I'm sitting cross-legged. That's probably not my best form either. I'm going to use my left arm to brace against my left knee. Then, if I can do it with one arm, I'll hoist up my 12.5 kilogram dumbbell. You're not going to start with 12.5 kilograms most likely. You're going to end with it either. This is part of progressive resistance. And let's see. My shoulders feel kind of awful today. Maybe I'm going to crank out 8 reps. And a fail out on the 10th rep. That means it's working. Now, you might think I got the 10th rep on the left arm, but see how my body was kind of leaning an awful lot? Massive cheats going on there. Those kind of cheats aren't really all that good for your balance. But, hey, you're moving the weight, you're taxing some kind of muscle, probably going to get some kind of growth somewhere. You're applying a little bit of pressure to the joints, which, if it's not going to injure you, might strengthen you. So, I'm going to consider that good for now. Also during this interval, I'm going to work with a lighter dumbbell. 7.5 kilograms. Now, one of the exercises I like to do with these is a wrist curl. Wrist curl is pretty straightforward. I like to roll it down onto the fingers, bring it back up. I'll do 8 reps, I guess. You don't want to start with a weight that's too heavy for you, because that could injure you. I know all about that. I've had carpal tunnel syndrome. Doing this exercise with a reasonable weight, then progressively strengthening your muscles, can actually give you an advantage against carpal tunnel syndrome. That's probably enough reps. On most muscle groups, I don't count the reps that carefully, as you may have noticed. I tend more to go towards my limit. My limit of feeling some pain, but not injury. What that does is signal the muscles, hey, you might want to get stronger. And that's kind of a good thing. At this point, I usually do some partial repetition bicep curls with this 7.5 kilo guy. I don't take this to failure. I don't even take it to particularly much pain. It's exercise, not training. It's not really the right weight of a dumbbell for me. That's more like 10 kilograms, 12 kilograms if I have a pump going on. Now these are partial reps. They don't go through the full range of motion. They're not going to be particularly beneficial, but they get blood flowing. It feels kind of good. And it's movement during the interval on my ab exercises, because I got 2 sets left of those to do. But we're not done with the arm exercises. If your hands are kind of sweaty like mine, this next little bit might be difficult. But what we're going to do is a hammer grip curl. This is for the brachioradialis. So you'll notice I'm not letting the weight slide down like this. That's why the sweaty hand comes in. It's only a partial rep movement. You want to try not to put dents in your hardwood floor. Now, if you don't have the grip strength to do this, you may have been overworking yourself recently. And again, that is for your brachioradialis, which is along here. I can't get mine to stand up particularly far yet because I'm a beginner at all of this stuff. You may notice there's a bit of a sheen on the arms now, partly because, yeah, it's a hard workout for me. I'm sweating. Partly because the humidity is like really high here. Nothing can evaporate. Time for another set of crunches. I'll see you in a second after that. Well, it's going to be a little more than a second. After the elbow to knee crunches, one of the things I like to do is straight leg raises without any hip elevation. I try to keep the small of my back as tight to the hardwood floor as possible. I actually do use my forearms as a bit of a brace. Lift the legs up to maybe 45 degrees if I can. Try to slow down the reps. Usually I hit around 16 or 17. There's some grunting near the end. You do want to keep those legs nice and straight, and you need to use your mind-muscle connection here to make sure that you're contracting your abdominals as much as possible. Considering that my cameraman is a stretch pole, I'd say it's doing a pretty good job. That's not a real rep. Switch to Japanese numbers. 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 You notice I didn't want to drop my legs right all the way down at the end. That's part of the form. It gets progressively difficult as your legs get closer to the ground. A variation of this exercise is to raise your legs only about 15 centimeters above the ground. Keep the small of your back as tight to the floor as possible, and hold. There's kind of a goofy partial corkscrew that I do as well. This has a little bit of anti-rotational muscle action in it. In other words, your obliques. And it also, I really find, I feel it along the IT band, which to my understanding is a grouping of muscles that goes from your hips to your knees. So I feel it along the sides of my legs. It can get excruciating towards the final rep, or the rep that's close to your failure. I do still count reps, but my rep rate has been getting higher and higher. I usually do 16 or 17 of these. There should be some grunting. It's going to be difficult to see, but the partial corkscrew is kind of fun. That slow descent is the killer. Not quite done. I'm looking for a 5th set of those elbow to knee crunches. Once I've done that, I'll show you some work with bands, and then I'm really ready for a shower. Partial equipment improvisation can be a great thing. For one, I lost the screw-on heads from my tripod somewhere, so I'm actually using a stretch pole as my tripod right now. Well, more like a monopod. The other is things like architectural features. This is a great place to attach my extra hard exercise band. So I've got one of these things, extra hard tubing with handles. The handles is a part that if you put some ingenuity into it, you can make yourself. The rest, you could do surgical tubing, or I've heard of bicycle inner tubes. I bought this at a hardware store. What I do is I take it around here at about shoulder height, step out until there's some good tension on this, and then this is going to be a sledgehammer with torso rotation. I do this about 8 times. It's about a 90-degree torso rotation. This primarily comes to your natural weight belt or your abdominal belt, including anti-rotation muscles and obliques. It's 10 reps, excuse me while I do the other side. After that, another oblique exercise that I like to do. Form is not great on this. I'm going to, at one point, of course, my fist is going to come up over my head, and the other thing is I'm going to slide my left hand down kind of towards my knee without, well, trying to avoid as much forward bending as possible. Trying to keep a really good posture while doing this bend. 10 times. Excuse me while I do the other side. Now, you may want to start not doing this with a resistance band. You can do it without a band at all. I do every day in the shower. Not going to show you that. After that, full band tension. I step out till it's kind of tight, keep my arm raised above my head, and swing it forward. Not too fast, and the return shouldn't be fast either. You want to maintain time under tension. Mostly a scapular exercise. Of course, scapula is a bone structure, not a muscle, but you're working the muscles that attach to it. And then I'll take half the band in each and do the same thing. You could do this with little dumbbells too, or huge dumbbells, whatever you're ready for. And And last, I do a kind of fly here. Trying to pinch my shoulder blades together on the reverse. And that's the last of the exercises that uses this pole. Hey, there's one of my old cowbells. Can never have too many of those. Last band exercises are done by stepping onto the band. The tighter you want the band to be, the more you're going to spread your feet apart. So I don't have it particularly tight. We do a bicep curl exercise. Speed is absolutely not what you're looking for here. You want to look for maximum contraction, taking the movement all the way up to the top, holding a little bit, and letting it go slowly as well. Now we're going for 10 reps here. Won't get you any gains, but it's a good warm up. Gets you ready for the day. And I guess that's 11 or 12. And then the band exercise that I personally find the most difficult. Forward grip, knuckles out, and I'm going to basically do the Hulk tearing his shirt open kind of movement, except right from full arm extension all the way up above my shoulders. It's also sort of stereotypical banzai. So, I'm going to do 10 reps of that. Gets tough near the end. And remember, you don't want to do this quickly. You want to do it nice and slowly, keeping tension while fighting that tension all the way through. And those are the band exercises that I do. Because I've been doing the talk through, I'm running a little bit later on time than I normally like to, and I have to hit the shower. But I'll give you an idea of the last few exercises that I do in the shower without doing them in the shower. First up, I do an exercise that I couldn't do even just a few months ago. And that's the toe touch. Standing with my feet all the way together, trying to keep straight legs as straight as possible, and dip down and touch the toes. First rep's always the hardest. Second rep's a little bit easier. A little bit of a hip hinge going on here. Anybody who's already into deadlifting will know all about that. You may see my knees bend just a little bit. I am doing the best I can. Gonna hit 10 on this. You do it as low as you can. I can actually get past my toe tips after the third or fourth rep. Check this out. Fingers are on the floor, knuckles are bent over. Still didn't get that much of a bend in the legs. Another exercise that I'll often do is, well, of course I'll do these without resistance, and waist pivots, doing a stomach vacuum. Stomach vacuum tightens up those abdominal muscles so you can get more mileage out of any anti-rotational exercise that you do. I also tend to do wall presses. Jeez, you can't see me. Wall presses. And, oh, can I see my butt? Also a rotation and anti-rotation exercise. Usually about 30 minutes a day. If I'm really feeling super pumped, maybe I'll do some split squats. Terrible at split squats. Alright, I got my legs nice and far apart, and if I was really a weightlifter, I'd do this with some weights. I'm totally a beginner, so I'm going to do it unweighted. Squat down to parallel or beyond, and bring it back up. 3 sets of 10 per side. That's all the time I got for today. Hopefully you have an idea. Do I feel a little bit whipped? Well, kind of. Do I feel warmed up and as if my body is going to be able to handle the day? Absolutely. If you want to feel that way too, sometimes getting up out of bed and doing stuff is really absolutely the right way to do it. Enjoy!